I'm glad you came. Come closer. I have things to tell you. Today, we're discussing the mystery of Mount Kailash. There are such mysterious events you need to hear about this mountain rising in a mystical corner of Tibet, that even Hitler's pursuit of it at one time is just a small part of these mysteries. So what do you say about the claim that this place is a gateway to the underground world? Those who tried to climb Mount Kailash said that they aged as if 2 weeks had passed in just 24 hours. And the interesting thing is, no one has been able to reach the summit to this day, except for one person. If you are ready for an exciting journey to the mysterious Mount Kailash, which is hidden from the rest of the world and touches upon everything from an advanced human race to the Gog and Magog tribes that will emerge close to the apocalypse, let's begin. Mount Kailash, nestled in a remote and inaccessible corner of the Tibetan Plateau, rises in mystical solitude, holding great secrets within, according to many beliefs and cultures for centuries. This mountain, which attracts attention both for its natural beauty and mystical qualities, possesses an extraordinary geographical structure. One of the intriguing claims about this mountain is that the distance from it to Stonehenge is 6,666 kilometers. Stonehenge, located on the Salisbury Plain in England and dating back to prehistoric times, is one of the most enigmatic stone structures in the world and has captured the interest of archaeologists, historians, and those fascinated by mystical phenomena for centuries. Additionally, it is said that the distance between Mount Kailash and the North Pole is also 6,666 kilometers, and its distance from the South Pole is exactly double that number, 13,332 kilometers. However, while these kinds of claims render Mount Kailash's location on Earth mysterious and mystical, modern technology reveals that the actual distances are somewhat different upon closer examination. Old measurements have been updated, and in reality, the distance between Mount Kailash and Stonehenge is approximately 6,917.6 kilometers. The distance to the North Pole is about 6,553 kilometers, and the distance to the South Pole is about 13,462 kilometers. These measurements differ from the claimed mystical distances, but interestingly, even the real distances are quite close to these claims. We can still say that the physical location of Mount Kailash on Earth remains a fascinating point. Moreover, the mountain's height is 6,638 meters, and it was even claimed in older measurements that this height was 6,666 meters. The geographical location of Mount Kailash might be the least interesting among the stories told about it. Let's say you're a mountaineer, and one day you find yourself here and decide to climb Mount Kailash. The laws will not permit you to climb, but let's imagine you somehow did. Be prepared for a time warp. In just one day, your nails, hair, and beard may suddenly grow as if 2 weeks have passed. In other words, you might age 2 weeks in just 24 hours. At least, this is the situation claimed by those who attempted to climb before. Dr. Ernst Muldashev, who conducted the most in-depth research on Mount Kailash, claimed that there is a special energy in the mountain and that it even possesses mystical qualities that can bend time. Throughout history, only one person has been believed to successfully reach the summit of Mount Kailash approximately 1,000 years ago. This person is a Tibetan monk named Milarepa. Before it was forbidden in modern times, let's take a look at what some people who attempted to climb Kailash have said. Colonel Wilson: just as I discovered an early walking path towards the summit, heavy snow began to fall, making the climb impossible. Russian mountaineer Sergei Chistyakov: as we approached the base of the mountain, my heart was pounding. I was standing before the invincible holy mountain. I felt extremely weakened, and suddenly I thought that I didn't belong to this mountain and absolutely had to return. As soon as I started descending, I felt liberated. Rutledge: absolutely unclimbable. Many ancient Tibetan tablets state that mortals cannot climb to the summit of Mount Kailash and will be prevented by an unseen force. The year is 1930. The Nazi Party, which had just seized power in Germany, turned its eyes to the distant mystical lands of the East, aiming to solve ancient mysteries and perhaps harness the power of a lost civilization. At the center of this event was Heinrich Himmler, the dark figure of the SS, one of the most important and feared organizations of the Nazi Party led by Adolf Hitler. Himmler was known for his interest in the occult and was obsessed with tracing ancient wisdom, particularly that of the pure Aryan race. On a cold winter day, a Nazi team led by Himmler set out towards Tibet, a land famous for its snow-covered peaks and mysterious monasteries, which was considered the center of the world. Their aim was not just a physical exploration, but to access mysterious knowledge buried in the dusty pages of history. As they advanced towards Mount Kailash, the mysterious sanctuary of the Himalayas, they were also chasing the legend of Agartha, a hidden kingdom said to exist deep underground, inhabited by an advanced civilization. Himmler and his team searched for information in the high plateaus, monasteries, and religious sites of Tibet. They knew that Tibet was not just composed of rugged rocks and vegetation, but also harbored a deep past and secret teachings. Perhaps the sages of this distant land could show them the traces of the Aryans' ancestors and the gateway to Agartha. However, this quest was not just a historical exploration, it was also a means to add a mystical dimension to the Nazis' dreams of world domination. According to Nazi beliefs, the inhabitants of Agartha, who live deep underground, possess superior knowledge and technologies that could alter human history. If they could access this knowledge, perhaps they could change the course of war and history. Despite years of research and speculation, the extent of the Nazi team's success remains a mystery. This enigmatic expedition, at the center of many stories, legends, and conspiracy theories, continues to be a dark and controversial chapter in the pages of history. But at this point, we should also consider the detail of the swastika symbol that the Nazis made famous. Mount Kailash, in addition to its natural structure, also draws attention with some prominent geological features, particularly these deep cracks resembling a swastika, which have intrigued many for years. According to local legends and mystical beliefs, these formations are seen as another mysterious sign of the mountain. Today, when most of us see this symbol, the first thing that comes to mind may be Hitler. But the swastika has a much older history, possibly dating back to the advanced human race believed to live underground. The swastika, which we recognize today as a symbol of Hitler and his destructive ideology, has a legacy spanning thousands of years and perhaps reflects the wisdom of legendary civilizations whose true meaning is hidden deep underground. While today, the first thing that comes to mind when the swastika is mentioned is Hitler, the ancient symbol's roots stretch back to the earliest periods of human history and carry deep significance. The swastika, or svastika, is actually an ancient and sacred symbol that has been used for thousands of years in many different cultures worldwide. With positive meanings, the swastika is especially considered sacred in Hinduism, Buddhism, and Jainism in India, and is commonly used in rituals and art in this region. Theosophists like Madame Blavatsky believed that this symbol represented the knowledge and spiritual teachings of ancient civilizations. Blavatsky claimed that ancient symbols, including the swastika, were connected to hidden civilizations underground. Agartha, as one of these civilizations, was seen by Blavatsky and other occultists as a lost piece of human history, a subterranean kingdom with advanced knowledge and technologies, harboring the wisdom that humanity had forgotten or overlooked in the external world. In Nazi Germany, however, the swastika would take on an entirely different meaning. In the late 1920s and early 1930s, Adolf Hitler and the Nazi Party adopted and used this symbol as an emblem of their ideology. Hitler believed that the swastika was a symbol of the Aryan race and referred to its ancient roots. Thus, adopting the swastika as a party symbol carried an ideological message. It aimed to symbolize the Nazi ideals of racial superiority by referencing an old and pure past. The Nazi Party's choice to use the swastika as their emblem and the global negative image it gained is an ironic twist of history. Now let's turn to the topic of Gog and Magog. In the Quran, the ruler Zulkarnain encounters wild tribes called Gog and Magog, or Gol Magog, between two mountains during one of his great journeys. To protect humanity from the chaos they would leave behind until the Day of Judgment, Zulkarnain built a massive barrier to block the Gog and Magog tribes. This barrier was erected to prevent Gog Magog from spreading across the earth and causing destructive effects on humanity. Among the signs of the Day of Judgment in Islamic belief is the breaking of this barrier and the re-emergence of the Gog Magog tribes, who will descend upon the earth from the mountaintops. The resurgence of these ancient tribes will lead to great destruction on earth and pose a significant threat to humanity. According to belief, the place where Gog and Magog will reappear is this region where the Himalayas are located. Previously, I mentioned a mountain in Kazakhstan associated with Gog and Magog. Similarly, Mount Kailash is another mysterious place linked to this barrier. Like the place where Zulkarnain encountered Gog and Magog, this magnificent peak rising between two mountains draws attention with the mysterious events told about it. Of course, God knows best. Next to Mount Kailash, whose name in Sanskrit means shining crystal, are two mysterious lakes. What makes them mysterious is the curious difference between the two lakes. Manasarova Lake and Rakshastal Lake. Despite being very close to each other, Manasarova Lake is generally calm and serene, while Rakshastal Lake tends to be windy and turbulent. These two lakes under the shadow of Kailash are believed to possess spiritual qualities according to various religious beliefs. Rakshastal Lake is associated with negative and dark energies, while Manasarova Lake is linked to tranquility, spiritual purity, peace, and enlightenment. The snow you see at the summit of Mount Kailash remains there without melting for all 365 days of the year. According to belief, if the snow ever melts, the secret lying beneath it will be revealed. One theory suggests that before the Great Flood, Mount Kailash was the Earth's polar point, and after the flood, the Earth's axis shifted, causing the poles to change locations. Another intriguing claim is that due to the shape of the mountain, its peak might actually be a man-made pyramid. If such a thing were true, it would make it the largest pyramid in the world. Of course, it's worth noting that these and similar claims are not accepted by the scientific community. Throughout history, what did people experience or see on Mount Kailash that could have shaped their religious beliefs? Something strange must have happened to people at Kailash for it to become such an important place in Hindu and Buddhist beliefs. In Hinduism, they have even declared this mountain as the home of their god Shiva, and they believe that Shiva lives at the summit of this mountain. Imagine the significance it holds for them. In Buddhism, this place is seen as the center of heaven. These religious significances attributed to the mountain undoubtedly strengthen its mystical and legendary aspects. The mountain's location, equidistant from the poles and some important historical centers, stands as a factor supporting this belief. Additionally, some accounts claim that Mount Kailash was the Earth's pole before the Great Flood, but after the flood, it settled into its current position. In short, the sacred Mount Kailash has continued to be at the center of intriguing legends and mysterious events for hundreds of years. If you enjoy this type of mysterious content, please remember to subscribe to my channel, like the video, and leave a comment. I'll see you in the next video.